Welcome in the tranquil realm of Everwood, a land of timeless wonder. As the night enfolds you in its serene embrace, let the soothing tale of Everwood guide you to a world of dreams. Here, under the ancient, whispering trees, Van Zam's adventure unfolds. A journey of mystery and magic. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let the secrets of Everwood lull you into a peaceful slumber, filled with enchanting dreams. Trials of the Forest. Sam and the main man stood at the edge of the moonlit marshes, a labyrinth of waterways and mist-laden paths. The landscape before them was a hauntingly beautiful tapestry of water, reeds, and the soft glow of the moonlight. The air was filled with the sounds of distant water creatures and the occasional rustled wind through the reeds. The middle man turned to Sam, his eyes reflecting the seriousness of their task. The moonlit marshes are treacherous, filled with hidden dangers. But they also hold deep wisdom. The water star, our next objective, is enshrined here, embodies the fluidity, depth, and adaptability of water. Soon nodded, feeling the weight of the windstone in his pack. The experience in the Whispering Valley had left him with a newfound respect for the elements and their guardians. He was ready for the challenge, his resolve strengthened by their success with the windstone. They began their journey into the marshes, treading carefully on the wet ground. The middleman led the way, using his staff to test the stability of the path ahead. He advised Sam to be mindful of his surroundings, to listen to the whispers of the water and the rustling of the reeds. As they ventured deeper, the marshes revealed their mesmerizing beauty. Fireflies danced around them, casting a gentle glow in the darkness. The reflections on the water created an ethereal world, where reality seemed to blend with reflections. The boundary between the two was blurred. The middleman stopped by a pool of water, its surface still and clear. "This is a good place to rest," he said. "We must be well rested before we seek the water guardian and its trail." They set up a small camp by the water. The middleman took out a flask containing a brew made from herbs. "This will help us attune to the marshes and its energies," he explained as he handed a cup to Sam. As they sipped the herbal brew, Sam felt a sense of calm wash over him. His senses seemed heightened, more attuned to the subtle movements and sounds of the marshes. The middleman spoke of the water stone and its significance. The water stone controls the flow of rivers and streams, the rain that nourishes the earth, and the tides that shape our shores. It holds within it the essence of life. The trial of the water guardian will likely test our ability to understand and adapt to the ever-changing water. Sam listened, his thoughts on the challenge that awaited them. He knew that the trials would not just be tests of skill, but also of character and understanding. That night, as they lay in their tents, the sounds of the marshes were a lullaby. It lulled them into a deep sleep. In his dreams, Sam saw visions of flowing water, of rivers carving through landscapes, and a gentle rains nourishing the earth. It was a reminder of the cycle of life, of the constant movement and change that define the natural world. The next morning, they woke to a mist-covered marsh. The air was cool and moist, and the rising sun cast a golden hue over the landscape. They broke camp and continued their journey, guided by the middleman's wisdom and the subtle cues of the marshes. As they moved deeper into the heart of the moonlit marshes, Sam felt a growing connection to the water around him. He was ready for the trial of the water guardian, ready to prove their worthiness to wield the power of the water stone. The moonlit marshes, a realm of serene water and whispering reeds, held an enigmatic beauty that both awed and unmoved Sam. As they delved deeper, the landscape seemed to shift and change, paths appearing, paying with the flow of water. The air was thick with mist, creating a surreal world where reality seemed draped in a veil of mystery. The middleman leaned with caution, his experience with the marshes evident. in his every step. The marshes are alive in their own way, he explained to Sam. They breathe with the tides, and their paths are ever-changing. One must be adaptable and attentive to navigate them. Sam observed the way the water moved, the patterns of the reeds, and the flight of the water birds. Each element provided clues to navigating the marshes. He also noticed how the middleman used the windstone at times, summoning gentle breezes to clear the mist or to sense the paths ahead. As they ventured further, the middleman began to speak of the water guardian. The water guardian is a spirit of depth and reflection. It understands the ebbs and flows of life, the undercurrents that shape our world. In his trial, we may be asked to confront not just physical challenges, but the depths of our own hearts and minds. Sam contemplated this, understanding that the trial might be more introspective, a journey into the self as much as a journey through the marshes. The marshes were a tapestry of life, from the tiny insects that skimmed the water's surface to the fish that darted in the shadows. Sam was captivated by the simplicity and complexity of life around him, each creature playing a role in the marshes ecosystem. As the day turned to evening, the marshes transformed. The moon rose, casting a silvery glow over the water. The sounds of the marshes changed to a symphony of nocturnal creatures, emerging with the fall of night. The middleman found a safe place to camp, on a small rise of land amidst the water. As they settled for the night, he warned Sam about the creatures of the marshes. Some were friendly, but others are best left undisturbed. We must respect their domain. That night, as Sam lay in his tent, he listened to the sounds of the marshes, a reminder of the delicate balance of nature, of the harmony that existed between every living thing. The marshes, with their ever-changing waters, were a symbol of life's constant flux, a reminder that change was the only constant. The next morning greeted them with a world bathed in mist. The sun's rays struggled to pierce through, creating a dance of light and shadow. Sam and the middleman continued their journey, each step taking them closer to the heart of the marshes, to the realm of the water guardian. Sam's thoughts were on the trial ahead, on the lessons he would learn, and the challenges he would face. He felt a sense of readiness, and an eagerness to embrace whatever the marshes and their guardian had to teach him. As they walked, the middleman spoke of the importance of intuition. In places like this, where the paths are not clear, one must rely on intuition as much as observation. Listen to your inner voice, Sam. It will guide you through the marshes and in the trial to come. Sam took these words to heart, feeling a deep connection to the world around him, a sense of being in tune with the rhythm of life that flowed through the moonlit marshes. Deep within the heart of the moonlit marshes, where the water ran deep and the mist hung heavy, Sam and the middleman found themselves in a clearing that felt ancient and untouched. In the center of the clearing was a large, tranquil pool, its surface mirroring the sky and a lush greenery around it. This, the middleman announced, was the domain of the water guardian. As they approached the pool, the air grew still, and a sense of solemnity enveloped them. The surface of the water began to ripple, and from its depths emerged the water guardian. It was a being of fluid grace, its form shimmering like the waters it embodied. Its eyes held the depth of the deepest oceans, and in its presence, Sam felt both a profound calm and an overwhelming sense of the vastness of life. The water guardian spoke, its voice like the flow of a gentle river. You have come seeking the water stone. To prove your worth, you must pass 3 trials. Each will test your understanding of water's nature, its adaptability, depth, and resilience. The first trial, the guardian explained, was to navigate a path across the marshes blindfolded, guided only by the sound of water. Sam and the middleman accepted the challenge, their eyes covered with blindfolds of woven reeds, relying solely on the sounds of trickling streams, the splash of fish, and the distant call of water birds. They began their cautious journey. It was a test of trust and intuition, each step a leap of faith. Sam focused on the sounds, letting them guide him, feeling the earth beneath his feet. The experience heightened his other senses, and he felt a deep connection to the water around him, as if it were guiding him forward, after what felt like hours. They reached their destination, a small island in the middle of the marsh. The bubbling falls were removed, and they found themselves surrounded by water lilies and reeds. The water guardian appeared again, nodding in approval. "You have passed the first trial by trusting in the guidance of water," it said. The second trial was to retrieve a key submerged at the bottom of the deep pool. This key would unlock a chest containing a scroll with ancient knowledge about the water stone. The challenge was not just the dive, but also deciphering where the key lay. Sam and the middleman took turns diving into the cool, clear water, searching for the key. The water was deeper than it appeared, and the task required not just physical skill, but also patience and perseverance. Finally, Sam's fingers brushed against something metallic, hidden beneath a rock. With a triumphant burst of energy, he surfaced, key in hand. The third and final trial was the most challenging. The water guardian created a whirlpool in the pool, its water swirling with formidable power. To understand water, you must face its strength and find calm within chaos, the guardian declared. The whirlpool and retrieved the scroll from its center. Sam took a deep breath, steeling himself for the task. He dove into the whirlpool, fighting against the pull of the swirling water. It was a struggle of will and strength, a battle against the overwhelming force of nature. But Sam remembered the lessons of the middleman to move with the water, not against it. Using his newfound understanding, he navigated the whirlpool, reaching its center and grasping a scroll. Exhausted but triumphant, Sam emerged from the water, the scroll held high. The water guardian, now serene, nodded in approval. "You have shown resilience and understanding. You are worthy of the water stone." The water of the pool stilled, and from its depths, a pedestal rose, upon which lay the water stone. It was a gem of deep blue, shimmering with an emerald light that seemed to hold the very essence of the oceans and rivers. Sam reached out and took the stone, feeling a surge of connection to the water around him. He had passed the trials, proving his worthiness to wield the power of the water stone. As they left the clearing, the middleman looked at Sam with pride. "You have grown much, Sam. The trials have not only tested your skill, but also revealed the depth of your character." Together, they continued their journey through the marshes, the water stone safe in Sam's possession, and their hearts filled with a sense of accomplishment, with many anticipation at the challenges that still lay ahead. After the successful retrieval of the water stone, Sam and the middleman began their journey back through the moonlit marshes. The trials of the water guardian are going to test not only of skill and understanding, but also of courage and inner strength. Sam reflected on the challenges they had faced. The trials had pushed him to his limits, testing his resilience, adaptability, and courage. He realized that these experiences were shaping him, not just as a guardian of the forest, but as a person. He felt a deeper connection to the natural world, a sense of unity with the elements of wind and water. The middleman observed Sam's contemplation. "The trials you face were not just about proving yourself for the guardians," he said. "They were also about discovering your own strength and potential. You have shown remarkable courage and wisdom, Sam. These qualities will be crucial as we continue our quest." Sam nodded, feeling a sense of pride and responsibility. The journey had revealed to him a resilience he hadn't known he possessed. He felt ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. His resolve strengthened by the trials of the water guardian. As they made their way out of the marshes, The landscape began to change. The dense reeds and mist gave way to firmer ground and the familiar sights and sounds of the forest. The experience in the marshes seemed almost otherworldly, a journey into a realm where the boundaries between the physical and the mystical blurred. The man and Sarah shared stories and lessons from their journey, discussing the importance of balance and harmony in nature. Sam listened intently, absorbing the middleman's wisdom and sharing his own insights from the trials. The journey back was uneventful, but the atmosphere was charged with a sense of anticipation. With 2 of the 3 stones now in their possession, they were closer to their goal of restoring balance to Everwood. But Sam knew that the final stone, the Fire Stone, would present its own unique challenges. As evening approached, they found a quiet spot to camp. The forest around them was peaceful, but there was a tension in the air, a sense that the balance they sought to restore was still far from achieved. At night, as Sam lay in his tent, he thought about the journey ahead. The trials of the wind and water guardians had taught him much, but he knew that the trial of the fire guardian would be different. Fire was unpredictable and powerful, and he wondered what challenges it would bring. Sam's were filled with visions of flames and smoke, of a forest alive with the dance of fire. But within the chaos, he also saw beauty and renewal, a reminder that fire, while destructive, was also a force of change and regeneration. The next morning, Sam and Middleman set off again, their spirits buoyed by their successes and their resolve firm. They were ready to face the final guardian and retrieve the last of the mystical stones. But as they walked, Sam felt a growing sense of purpose. He was no longer just a boy and an adventurer. He was a guardian on a quest to protect the forest he loved. The journey had changed him, and he was ready to face whatever lay ahead. As Sam and the middleman continued their journey back through the forest, the water stone, now securely placed alongside the wind stone in Sam's pack, seemed to resonate with a life of its own. A stone in deep and vibrant blue shimmered softly, its glow pulsating in rhythm with the natural world around them. The water stone, the middleman began, breaking the silence, is not just a symbol of the water's power. It is a connection to the essence of life itself. Water is adaptable, ever-changing, yet it holds a strength that can shape the very earth. This stone will help you understand and harness these qualities. Sam, holding the stone in his hand, felt a profound connection to the water. He could sense the streams and rivers, their currents and flows speaking to him in a language he was just beginning to understand. As they walked, the middleman explained the properties of the water stone. With this stone, you can communicate with the water spirit, sense the purity of water sources, and influence its flow. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. The stone must be used in harmony with nature, never against it. Sam nodded, absorbing the gravity of his role as a guardian of the stones. He understood that these stones were not merely tools, but sacred relics, key to maintaining the balance of the natural world. Their journey through the forest was peaceful, yet both Sam and the middleman felt an undercurrent of tension. The disturbance in the forest was still unresolved, and the presence of the fire stone remained a looming challenge. As they neared the end of the day's journey, a sense of unease began to grow. The forest seemed quieter than usual, the usual chorus of birds and insects subdued. The air was still, heavy with anticipation. Suddenly, Sam stopped in his tracks, his attention drawn to a rustling in the bushes. A fox emerged, its eyes meeting Sam's. There was a depth in his gaze, an unspoken message that Sam felt in his bones. The middleman watched the exchange closely. The animal sensed the changes in the forest. He said softly, "They are allies, and they too are affected by the imbalance. We must be vigilant." for their behavior can guide us to the source of the disturbance. They admit as they can. The Firestone, the final piece of their quest, was said to be the most challenging to obtain. It was a stone of energy and transformation, its guardian a being of fierce power. Sam held the water stone, feeling its cool, soothing presence. He thought about the trials he had faced, the lessons he had learned, and the challenges that lay ahead. The journey had been a test of his courage, his wisdom, and his heart. He knew that the trial of the Fire Guardian would be a combination of all he had experienced. As the fire crackled and the forest whispered around them, Sam and the middleman prepared for the next leg of their journey. They were ready to face the Fire Guardian and retrieve the final stone. The fate of Everwood hung in the balance, and they were determined to restore its harmony. In the quiet of the night, the fire reduced to glowing embers, with forest around them a symphony of subtle night sounds. The middleman shared his growing concern with Sam. The air was cool, carrying the scents of earth and pine. In the canopy above was a tapestry of stars and shadows. Sam, as we draw closer to finding a firestone, I feel a sense of unease. The middleman began, his voice low and thoughtful. The disturbance in the forest is growing stronger, more palpable. It's as if the forest itself is crying out for help. Sam listened intently, the weight of the responsibility pressing upon him. He too had felt the change in the forest, a tension in the air that seemed to grow with each passing day. The firestone is the last piece we need to restore balance. But I fear that the disturbance is not merely a matter of imbalance, continued the middleman. There seems to be a darker force at work, something that is deliberately causing harm to the forest. Sam nodded in agreement. During that journey, he had sensed an unnatural presence, a shadow that seemed to loom over the trees and the creatures. Do you think this force is connected to the firestone? He asked. The middleman gazed into the fire, his eyes reflecting the dancing flames. It's possible. The Firestone is a powerful entity, embodying the essence of transformation and energy. If it falls into the wrong hands, the consequences could be disastrous. Sam felt a surge of determination. He must find the Firestone before this force does. We have to protect Everwood. The middleman placed a hand on Sam's shoulder, a gesture of reassurance. I have no doubt that we will succeed, Sam. Your courage and wisdom have grown immensely during our journey. Together, we have the strength to overcome this challenge. He paused and added that we must also be cautious. This force, whatever it is, would not give up easily. We need to be prepared for anything. The conversation shifted to their next steps. The Firestone was said to reside in a sunlit peak, a mountainous region known for its harsh terrain and fiery sunsets. The journey would be arduous, and the trial of the Fire Guardian, a being of immense power and passion, would be their greatest challenge yet. We must leave at first light, said the middleman. The sunlit peak is a day's journey from here, and we need to reach it as soon as possible. Sam nodded, his mind already in the path ahead. He knew the trial of the Fire Guardian would test him in ways he had not yet experienced. But he also knew that he was no longer the boy who had first entered the forest. He was a guardian, a protector of Everwood, and he was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The Sam lay in his tent. He thought about the journey they had undertaken. The wind stone had taught him about freedom and change. The water stalled. Now, the Firestone awaited, a symbol of energy and transformation. Sam closed his eyes, feeling the presence of the two stones in his pack. They were more than just gems. They were embodiments of the natural world, of the balance that sustained all life. He drifted off to sleep with a sense of purpose, ready for the final leg of their quest, shadows and revelations. As dawn broke, casting a golden light through the trees, Sam and the middleman embarked on the final leg of their quest. The sunlit peak loomed in the distance, its silhouette a stark contrast against the brightening sky. The journey ahead promised to be challenging, but they were determined to find the firestone and restore balance to Everwood. The forest gradually gave way to rugged terrain, the trees thinning as they ascended towards the mountain. The path was steep and treacherous, lined in the rocky, frogs and sparse vegetation. The air grew thinner, sharper, carrying the scent of stone and of smoke. The sunlit peak is known for its fiery sunsets in the intense heat of the day. A middleman explained. The fire guardian resides in a place where the earth's heat can be felt. A cave near the summit where fire and stone meet. Sam listened, his mind focused on the task ahead. He felt the weight of the wind and water stones in his pack, their presence a constant reminder of the journey they had undertaken, and the responsibility he carried. As they climbed, the signs of the disturbance in the forest became more evident. Patches of scorched earth appeared sporadically, and the wildlife was noticeably scarcer. The air was tense, as if charged with an unseen energy. The disturbance seems to be emanating from the peak, observed the middleman, his brow furrowed in concern. We must be vigilant. The force causing this imbalance could be near. Sam felt a mix of apprehension and resolve. The journey had prepared him for this moment, and he was ready to face whatever lay ahead. He knew that the trial of the Fire Guardian would be a test of his strength and determination. The terrain became increasingly difficult as they neared the summit. The heat was intense, radiating from the sun-baked rocks. They stopped frequently to rest and hydrate, conserving their strength for the challenges ahead. In the late afternoon, they reached the entrance to a cave. Its mouth wide and dark against the bright landscape. A wave of heat emanated from within, carrying the scent of sulfur and ash. "This is the place," said the middleman, a serious tone in his voice. "The Fire Guardian awaits us inside. Remember, fire is a force of both destruction and renewal. The trial will likely test our ability to understand and harness these aspects." Sam took a deep breath, steeling himself for the trial. Together they stepped into the cave, the temperature rising with each step. The light from the entrance soon faded, and they were enveloped in darkness, save for the faint glow of molten rock in the depths of the cave. The air was thick with heat, making it difficult to breathe. Sam could feel the power of the firestone, a pulsating energy that seemed to call to him from the heart of the mountain. They descended deeper into the cave, guided by the faint glow and the middleman's knowledge of the terrain. The sense of an impending trial grew stronger, a palpable tension that hung in the air. Finally reached a large chamber, the heart of the mountain, where pools of lava bubbled and spat. The heat was almost unbearable, a physical force that pressed against them. In the center of the chamber stood the Fire Guardian, a being of flame and smoke, its form shifting and crackling with energy. Its eyes were like coals, burning with an intensity that was both frightening and mesmerizing. "You have come for the Firestone," it spoke, its voice a roar of flames. "But to claim it, you must prove your understanding of fire's nature. Are you ready to face my trial?" Sam and the middleman exchanged a determined look, ready to face the final challenge in their quest to save Everwood. Before the trial could commence, the Fire Guardian presented Sam and the middleman with an unexpected challenge. To reach the Firestone, you must first navigate the perilous path, it declared, its voice crackling like burning timber. "This path will test your courage, your resilience, and your ability to withstand the fire's heat." The perilous path, as revealed by the Guardian, was a narrow ledge that wound its way around the chamber, overlooking rivers of molten lava. The heat was intense, radiating from the glowing rock, and the air shimmered with the rising heat. Sam felt the sweat bead on his forehead, the dryness in his throat, but his resolve was unwavering. The middle man led the way, his experience in the forest, and his wisdom guiding his steps. He cautioned Sam to be mindful of the loose rocks and the treacherous footing. Each step must be deliberate and sure, he advised. Sam followed, focusing on his breathing, trying to remain calm despite the oppressive heat. He could feel the power of the wind and water stones in his back, their presence a source of comfort and strength. As they made their way along the perilous path, the ledge narrowed, and the heat intensified. Sam's vision blurred with the heat waves, and he felt as if he was walking on the edge of the world. The molten lava below them glowed ominously, a reminder of the destructive power of fire. Despite the challenges, Sam and the man persevered. They moved with caution and precision, supporting each other through the most treacherous parts of the path. The experience in the moonlit marshes and the whispering alley had prepared them for this moment, honing their skills and their bond. After what seemed like hours, they reached the end of the perilous path. Before them lay a platform, and on it, the fire guardian awaited, its form flickering like a living flame. "You have shown great courage," the fire guardian acknowledged. "Now you must face the final trial to claim the Fire Stone." Sam stepped forward, ready to face whatever challenge lay ahead. He knew that the trial would be a test of his understanding of fire, its destructive force, and its capacity for renewal and change. A fire guardian's eyes blazed as it presented the final trial. To claim the Fire Stone, you must enter the circle of flames and retrieve the Ember of Truth. This ember represents the heart of fire, its essence. But beware, the flames will test your resolve and your ability to face fear. Circle of Flames was a ring of fire that surrounded a pedestal. On the pedestal lay a small glowing ember, its light pulsating in the heart of the flames. Sam stepped towards the circle, feeling the intense heat wash over him. He took a deep breath, focusing on the lessons of the middle man and the experiences of their journey. He knew he had to trust his instincts and his understanding of the elements. As he entered the circle, the flames rose higher, their heat nearly unbearable. But Sam remained focused, moving towards the pedestal with determination. The heat was suffocating, the light blinding, but he pushed forward, driven by his duty to restore balance to Everwood. Reaching the pedestal, Sam extended his hand and took the Ember of Truth. The moment he touched it, the flames subsided, and the heat receded. He had passed the trial, proving his understanding, respect for the nature of fire. The Fire Guardian nodded in approval. "You have shown your worth. The Fire Stone is yours to wield. Use its power wisely, and in harmony with the other elements." Sam emerged from the circle of flames, the Ember of Truth and the Fire Stone in his possession. He faced the trial and emerged victorious, one step closer to restoring balance to Everwood. With the Fire Stone now in his possession, Sam felt a surge of energy pulsating through him. The stone, warm to the touch, glowed with an inner fire that mirrored the burning resolve in Sam's heart. The middleman watched with pride and relief, knowing that the most challenging part of their journey was now behind them. As they prepared to leave the chamber, the Fire Guardian spoke once more, its voice resonating with a sense of urgency. "Guardians of the forest, the disturbance you seek to resolve is not of natural origin. A dark force driven by a desire for power seeks to control the elements for its own gain. You must be ready to confront it." Sam and Middleman exchanged a look of concern. The revelation that the imbalance in Everwood was caused by an unnatural force was alarming. He had sensed the growing disturbance, but the knowledge that it was orchestrated changed the nature of their quest. "Who is behind this?" Sam asked, his grip tightening on the Fire Stone. The fire guardian's flames flickered with a warning glow. A shadow from the past, one who seeks to bend the natural world to his will. He has already begun to exert his influence over the forest. You must stop him before it's too late. Within your purpose, Sam and the middleman sank the fire guardian and left the chamber, emerging back into the daylight. The air outside was cool and fresh, a stark contrast to the stifling heat of the cave. As they descended the mountain, the middleman shared his thoughts. This dark force could be using the disturbance in the forest to gather power. We must be cautious and alert. Our journey is not just about restoring balance, also about protecting Everwood from this threat. Sam nodded, feeling the weight of the responsibility. He thought about the trials they had faced, the lessons learned, and how each element they had encountered, wind, water, and fire, was essential to the balance of nature. He realized that their quest was a microcosm of the larger struggle between harmony and chaos. The descent was challenging, but the presence of the 3 stones gave them strength. Each step took them closer to the heart of the forest, where they would need to confront the source of the disturbance. As they neared the base of the mountain, a sense of unease settled over them. The forest seemed too quiet. The usual chorus of birds and insects are really absent. The air was tinged with a strange energy, a foreboding. But something was amiss. Suddenly, a figure stepped onto their path, shrouded in a dark cloak. The air around him was heavy with an unnatural aura, and his eyes glowed with a malevolent light. You have done well to gather the stones, but they will not save you. The figure spoke, his voice cold and menacing. I will take them and use their power to bend the forest to my will. Sam and the middleman readied themselves, knowing that the confrontation they had been warned about was upon them. The fate of Everwood hung in the balance. They were prepared to defend it with everything they had. The figure raised his hands, summoning dark energies that twisted the air around them. Sam felt the power of the stones within him, a beacon of light in the darkness. With the middleman at his side, he stepped forward to face the threat, ready to fight for the forest he loved. The confrontation with the shadowy figure marked a pivotal moment in Sam's journey. As the figure unleashed a surge of dark energy, Sam instinctively raised the fire stone, its glow intensifying in response to the threat. The middleman stood beside him, uttering ancient words that seemed to weave a protective barrier around them. The figure's power was formidable, crackling with a malevolent energy that sought to overwhelm them. But Sam, bolstered by the strength of the stones, when his own newfound resolve, stood his ground. He felt a deep connection to the elements, a unity that transcended physical boundaries. In this moment of crisis, Sam experienced an awakening. The trials of the Guardians had not only prepared him physically, but it also ignited a transformation within. He realized that the power of the stones was not just to be wielded, but to be harmonized with. He understood, now more than ever, that balance was the key to harmony between the elements, between humanity and nature. Harnessing the energy of the fire stone, Sam directed a stream of fiery light towards the dark figure. The middleman, in perfect sync, augmented the attack with his own powers, calling upon the forces of wind and water. The figure recoiled, his dark energies clashing with the elemental power unleashed upon him. The battle was intense, a clash of light and darkness, each force vying for dominance. The forest around them seemed to respond, the wind howling in support, the trees swaying as if to lend their strength. In the midst of the chaos, Sam felt a clarity of purpose. He was no longer just a boy on a quest. He was a guardian, a protector of the natural order. With every pulse of the fire stone, he pushed back against the darkness, defending the forest he had come to love. Finally, with a burst of brilliant light, the figure's energies were dispersed. He stumbled back, weakened and defeated. The dark cloak fell away, revealing his true form, a man consumed by his own desire for power, now stripped of his ability to harm the forest. The middleman approached the figure, speaking words of ancient law. Your attempt to dominate the elements has failed. You must now face the consequences of your actions. The forest will not suffer your presence any longer. With that, the figure vanished, a mere wisp of smoke carried away by the wind. The threat was over. The disturbance in the forest quelled. Sam stood, the firestone still warm in his hand. He felt a deep sense of peace, a harmonious balance within himself. He faced his greatest challenge and had emerged stronger, wiser and more connected to the world around him. Middleman placed a hand on Sam's shoulder. You have done well, Sam. The forest is safe, thanks to your courage and strength. You have truly become a guardian of Everwood. As they began their journey back to the heart of the forest, Sam knew that his journey was not just about restoring balance, but also about his own transformation. He had learned the language of the forest, the secrets of the elements, and most importantly, the strength that lay within him. The adventure had changed him, and he was ready to embrace his role as a protector of Everwood, to stand as a guardian against any who would seek to disrupt the harmony of nature. With the immediate threat neutralized, Sam and the middleman began their trek back through the forest. The weight of the 3 stones in Sam's pack a tangible reminder of their hard-won victory. As they walked, the middleman revealed the truth about the shadowy figure they had encountered. The man you saw, the middleman began, his voice tinged with a mixture of sadness and relief, was once a guardian of the forest, much like ourselves. His name was Coziest, and he was my apprentice many years ago. Sam listened intently, the revelation sparking a mixture of shock and curiosity. The idea that someone who was meant to protect the forest could turn against it was unsettling. Coziest was talented and showed great promise. But over time, his desire for power overshadowed his duty to the forest. He became obsessed with the idea of controlling the elements, rather than living in harmony with them. The middleman continued. The forest around them seemed to listen, the gentle rustling of leaves and the soft calls of birds creating a backdrop at the tail. That day, Coziest attempted to harness the energy of the elemental stones for his own gain. His actions disrupted the balance of the forest, leading to the disturbances we have witnessed. I tried to reason with him, to bring him back to the path of a true guardian, but his heart was consumed by his own ambitions. The middleman's words were heavy with regret. I hoped he would find his way back to the light, but power can correct even the strongest of wills. Sam felt a surge of empathy for the middleman. The burden of seeing a former apprentice fall from grace was not an easy one to bear. What will happen to Coziest now? He asked. The forest has a way of healing and restoring balance. Coziest will no longer be able to harm it. His connection to the elemental energies has been severed. It is my hope that in time, he will find redemption. The middleman replied. As he walked on, the sun began to set, casting a golden light through the canopy. The forest seemed at peace. The sense of disturbance that had once hung heavy of the air now lifted. Sam pondered the story of Coziest, realizing that the journey of a guardian was not just about protecting the forest, or so about maintaining a balance within oneself. Power, he understood, was a responsibility, not a tool for personal gain. The middleman, sensing Sam's thoughts, added to our journey. Sam has shown me the importance of harmony between the elements, between humanity and nature, and within oneself. You have faced challenges and emerged stronger, not just as a guardian, but as a person. Sam felt a profound sense of growth and understanding. The journey had indeed been transformative, teaching him lessons that extended far beyond the boundaries of Everwood. As they made their way back to the heart of the forest, Sam knew that his role as a guardian was just beginning. There would be other challenges, other adventures. But for now, the forest was at peace, its balance restored by the courage and dedication of its guardians. The adventure had come to an end, but Sam's journey as a guardian of Everwood had only just begun. The battle for Everwood. After their return to the heart of Everwood, Sam and the middleman began preparations for what they anticipated would be a final showdown. Although the immediate threat posed by Elias had been neutralized, they knew that the disturbance in the forest was a symptom of a deeper imbalance that still needed to be addressed. The middleman, drawing upon his extensive knowledge and experience, guided Sam in harnessing the power of the elemental stones. These stones are not just sources of power, he explained. They are conduits through which the harmony of the natural world flows. We must use them to restore the balance. They practice channeling the energies of the wind, water, and fire stones, learning to blend their powers in a symphony of elemental force. Sam, with his newfound connection to the stones, demonstrated a natural aptitude for this, intuitively understanding how to weave the energies together. Meanwhile, signs of the lingering imbalance were still evident in the forest. Animals behaved restlessly, and the plants showed signs of stress. The very air of Everwood seemed charged with a latent tension, as if awaiting resolution. The middleman decided that they needed to perform a ritual at the heart of the forest, where the disturbance seemed most concentrated. This ritual would involve channeling the power of the elemental stones to cleanse the forest of the lingering dark energy and restore its natural harmony. As they prepared for the ritual, Sam felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. The journey had tested him in ways he could never have imagined, and now he stood on the brink of a pivotal moment, one that would determine the fate of the forest he had come to love and protect. A middleman, sensing Sam's nervousness, offered words of encouragement. "You are shown great wisdom, Sam. Trust in yourself and in the balance of nature. We're merely conduits for the forest you." The night before the ritual, Sam found it hard to sleep. He lay in his tent, listening to the sounds of the forest, feeling the presence of the elemental stones. They pulsed with a quiet power, as if in anticipation of the role they were to play. In the quiet hours of the night, Sam reflected on his journey. He had started as a curious boy, drawn to the mysteries of the forest. Now, he stood as a guardian, a defender of the natural world. The transformation was profound, and he felt a deep sense of responsibility and purpose. As dawn broke, casting a soft light through the trees, Sam and the middleman made their way to the ritual site, a clearing where the energies of the forest converged. They carried with them the elemental stones, now symbols of their journey, and their commitment to Everwood. The air in the clearing was still, the force holding its breath as if in anticipation of the coming ritual. Sam and middleman positioned themselves at the center of the clearing, the stones laid out before them. The middleman began to chant in an ancient tongue, his voice resonant and clear. Sam closed his eyes, focusing on the stones, feeling their energy to rise in response to the middleman's words. The ritual had begun, and with it, the final act in their quest to save Everwood. As the ritual commenced, the middleman and Sam focused on a carefully devised strategy. The plan was to create a harmonious convergence of the elemental energies, a fusion that would resonate through Everwood and counteract the lingering darkness. The key is balance, the middleman reiterated. We must ensure that the energies of the wind, water, and fire stones are in perfect harmony. Too much of one element could disrupt the ritual. Sam nodded, feeling the stones' energies pulsating in unison with his heartbeat. He was to focus on the water and fire stones, channeling their powers in a controlled flow, while the middleman would harness the wind stone, using its energy to weave the other elements together. As the ritual progressed, the atmosphere in the clearing changed. The air vibrated with power, and the earth beneath them seemed to pulse with life. The elemental stones glowed brighter, their light merging into a radiant beacon that illuminated the clearing. Sam concentrated, channeling the energies of the stones. He could feel the heat of the fire stone and the fluidity of the water stone, his mind guiding their powers to intertwine in a dance of flames and waves. The middleman's chants grew louder, his voice a guiding force that directed Dominant's power, wrapping it around the other elements like a protective embrace. The strategy required precision and focus. Sam found himself drawing on all the lessons he had learned during the journey: patience and adaptability from the moonlit marshes, the courage and resilience from the sunlit peak, and the understanding of balance from his time with the middleman. As the ritual reached its climax, the energies of the stones reached a crescendo, a symphony of elemental power that resonated through the forest. The clearing glowed with an ethereal light, the air crackling with the force of their combined powers. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the clearing, carrying with it whispers of the forest. The trees rustled in response, and the wildlife paused in reverence. It was as if Everwood itself was acknowledging the ritual, lending its strength to the guardian's efforts. The middleman's voice rose to a final, thunderous incantation, and Sam pushed the last surge of energy from the stones into the heart of the ritual. A wave of light and power exploded from the clearing, rippling outwards through the forest. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then gradually, the light dimmed, and the energy subsided. The stone's glow faded to a gentle pulsing, like the beating heart of Everwood itself. Sam and the middleman stood in the clearing, exhausted but triumphant. They had done it. The balance was restored, the darkness dispelled. The forest seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, a sense of peace settling over the land. As they recovered from the ritual, Sam realized that this victory was more than just the culmination of their journey. It was a testament to their partnership, to the strength that comes from unity and balance. Together, they had saved Everwood, and in doing so, it forged a bond that would last a lifetime. As Sam and the middleman gathered their strength after the ritual, a sudden chill permeated the air. The sense of peace that had settled over the clearing was abruptly shattered by an ominous presence. From the shadows of the forest emerged a figure, its aura dark and oppressive. This new adversary was different from Alicus. It was an embodiment of the lingering darkness, a manifestation of the imbalance they had fought to correct. It seemed to be drawn to the power of the ritual, seeking to corrupt and consume the energy they had released. The middleman stood tall, his eyes narrowed in recognition. "This is the true source of the disturbance," he whispered to Sam. "It's a shadow entity, a concentration of all the negative energy that has been disrupting the forest. You must face it together." Sam, feeling the weight of the elemental stones, knew that this was the culmination of their quest. They had restored the balance, but now they had to defend it against this ultimate manifestation of darkness. The shadow entity moved towards them, its form shifting and changing, a miasma of darkness that seemed to absorb the light around it. The middleman began to chant, his words weaving out a protective barrier around them, while Sam focused on the elemental stones ready to use their combined power. The battle that ensued was a clash of light and shadow, a struggle between the forces of balance and chaos. The middleman's chants resonated through the clearing, countering the dark whispers of the entity. Sam unleashed the powers of the wind, water, and fire, each element or weapon against the encroaching darkness. And currents swirled around them, water from the nearby stream rose to form barriers, and flames danced at Sam's command, each element responding to the will of its guardian. The shadow entity recoiled from the display of power, its form flickering and waning under the assault, but the entity was persistent, lashing out with tendrils in darkness, trying to break through their defenses. Sam felt the strain of maintaining control over the elemental forces. His concentration pushed to its limits. In a moment of desperation, the middleman called out to the forest itself, invoking the ancient spirits of Everwood. The trees began to sway, their branches twisting to form shields, their roots emerging from the ground to untangle the entity. With the forest aiding them, Sam pushed forward, channeling the full might of the elemental stones. A brilliant light emanated from him, a fusion of wind, water, and fire that illuminated the clearing with a blinding radiance. The shadow entity, overwhelmed by the combined forces of nature and the guardians, let out a final, ear-pino, and screech before dissipating into the air. It causes instincts by exhausted but victorious, Sam and the middleman collapsed to the ground, their energies spent. The forest around them settled into a peaceful silence, the threat vanquished, and balance restored. As they lay there, catching their breath, Sam realized that they had achieved more than just a restoration of balance. They had proven that unity and harmony were the greatest weapons against darkness and chaos. The battle for Everwood was over, and they had emerged victorious, guardians not just of the forest, but of the delicate balance that sustained all life. In the aftermath of their confrontation with the shadow entity, Sam and the middleman took a moment to comprehend the magnitude of what they had achieved. The clearing was serene, the only sounds being the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant calls of birds. The forest had been restored to its natural state, but the guardians knew that the balance must be maintained. The middleman, still catching his breath, turned to Sam. The power of the elemental stones must now be used to ensure that the balance we have restored remains. The forest is healed, but it will need continued guidance and protection. Sam nodded in agreement, feeling the stone's energy still on them. In his pack, they had become more than just tools in their journey. They were now integral to maintaining the harmony of Everwood. They began by using the wind stone to cleanse the air of any remaining dark energies. Sam held the stone aloft, and as he did so, a gentle breeze began to blow through the clearing, gradually growing in strength. The wind swirled around them, lifting leaves and loose debris, purifying the air with its passage. They turned their attention to the water stone. The middleman guided Sam in using the stone to purify the streams and rivers of the forest. Sam placed the stone near the water, and as he focused on it, the water began to shimmer with a clear, bright light. The streams bubbled and flowed with renewed vigor, the life-giving properties of the water restored. Finally, they used the fire stone, like the destructive force that had been wielded against. The fire stone was now used to rejuvenate and invigorate the life within the forest. Sam, under the middleman's guidance, directed the stone's warmth to the soil, encouraging growth and vitality. Trees and plants that had been wilted or damaged by the imbalance began to recover, their leaves unfurling, their branches reaching towards the sky. As they worked, Sam felt a deep connection with the forest and the elemental forces. He had learned to respect and harness these powers, not as a means of control, but as a way of maintaining harmony. The middleman watched Sam with pride. "You have grown so much, Sam. You are no longer just an apprentice. You are a true guardian of the forest. Together, we will continue to protect and nurture Everwood, preserving the balance for future generations." Sam felt a sense of accomplishment and purpose. The journey had been long and fraught with challenges, but it had led him to discover his true calling. He was ready to take on the responsibility of being a guardian, to protect the forest and its inhabitants. As the day turned to evening, and the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Sam and the middleman sat in the clearing, reflecting on their journey. They had faced darkness and emerged victorious, but more importantly, they had learned the importance of balance, unity, and harmony. The power of the stones, now used for healing and protection, would be a cornerstone in their ongoing guardianship of Everwood. The forest was alive with the song of nature, a melody of peace and balance that would continue to play as long as guardians like Sam and the middleman were there to preserve it. As the first stars of the evening appeared in the sky, Sam and the middleman sat in the heart of the forest, a sense of tranquility surrounding them. The successful completion of their quest had brought a profound sense of accomplishment and relief. Everwood, with its myriad of life and mysteries, was once again a place of harmony and balance. The middleman, looking around at the rejuvenated forest, spoke with a tone of satisfaction. Today marks a significant victory, Sam. Not just for us, but for all of Everwood. The balance has been restored, thanks to your courage and dedication. Sam looked out at the forest, feeling a deep connection to every leaf, every branch, every whisper of the wind. It feels like I've been part of this forest for a lifetime, he mused. I can't imagine being anywhere else. The forest has always been a part of you, Sam. The middleman replied, You have a natural affinity for the natural world, a gift that got us grown stronger throughout our journey. You become more than just a guardian of the stones. You are a guardian of Everwood itself. As night fell, the forest seemed to celebrate their victory. Fireflies danced in the air, their lights mingling with the stars above. The gentle hum of the forest was a symphony of life, a testament to the restored balance. The middleman and Sam discussed their future role in maintaining this balance. Our work is far from over, the middleman said. Balance is a continuous process, a constant effort. We must remain vigilant, ensuring that the harmony of Everwood is preserved. Sam nodded in agreement, understanding the weight of their responsibility. He felt ready for the task, armed with the knowledge and experience he had gained. I'm ready for whatever comes next, he said with determination. It's my home, and I will do everything in my power to protect it. They spent the night in the clearing, under the watchful eyes of the stars and the protective embrace of the forest. The elemental stones, now quiet, rested beside them, their purpose fulfilled for the moment. As dawn broke, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, Sam and the middleman prepared to continue their guardianship of Everwood. The journey had been long, and the challenges many, but they had emerged stronger and more united. Everwood, with its ancient trees and hidden secrets, stood as a reminder of the delicate balance of nature, a balance that Sam and the middleman had fought to protect. As new guardians of this mystical forest, they were ready to face whatever the future held, their bond unbreakable, and their commitment unwavering. Victory had been achieved, and balance restored. Everwood was once again a place of peace, a testament to the enduring power of harmony and unity. Sam's journey from a curious boy to a guardian of Everwood was a tale of growth, discovery, and the importance of balance in the natural world. Alongside the middleman, he faced trials that tested his courage, wisdom, and heart. In the end, he emerged victorious not just in restoring balance to the forest, but also he forged a deep connection with the natural world. Everwood, with its ancient mysteries and vibrant life, continued to thrive under their guardianship, a beacon of harmony and peace in a world that often forgot the importance of coexisting with nature. Sam's story was a reminder that every individual has the power to make the difference, to protect and preserve the natural beauty that surrounds us. His journey was one of adventure and transformation, a testament to the enduring bond between humanity and nature.